Yaya swapnam bhayam shokam Vishadam madameva cha Na vimunchati durmedha Dhrute sa partha tamasi.
O Partha, that firmness is tamasic, by which, out of foolishness, one does not give up, swapna, dreaming, bhaya, fear, shoka, grief, shada, despondency, and mada, arrogance. So, tamasic dhriti is the firmness with which you hold on to negativities, stubbornness. And these negativities plague your personality. There are people who hang on to these tamasic qualities till they die, but they won't give it up. What kind of a shackle is that? It's sad when you see someone unable to rise above his or her negativities. So what are these negativities? Swapna, daydreaming, just imagination. There are people who sit there, they're not doing anything about it. But they'll sit there and say, next week, I'm going to get ₹1,000,000. Just like that. You must understand, nothing comes from nothing, as they say. You're not putting in any effort, you're not going to get anything. And even if you're putting in effort, to sit there and believe that millions are going to just, as Shakespeare said, the heavens are going to open and throw forth gold, is a tamasic way of looking at things. Bhaya, fear, baseless fear. There are people who fear bad luck. That's why people change their spellings. Perfectly logical spelling they have, suddenly they go and put in an additional A and an additional S and all that. Why? Good luck. Fear. There are people who fear all sorts of things. Bad time. What is that called every day? Rahu Kalam. Rahu Kalam. Once many years ago we were shifting house and suddenly I get a call. We were in the middle of shifting and uncle rings me up and says, "Have you checked with what Rahu Kalam is today?" I said, "No. Because whatever time we are moving is certainly not Rahu Kalam." I didn't know, I just said it. And he looked it up. Next day he calls and says, "No, luckily you didn't move during Rahu Kala." Vishada, despair. The despair comes because you're not putting any positive action. You're not doing anything positive. The Ishavasya Upanishad says, "Asurya namate loka andhena tamasavrata." People who are enveloped by darkness, by tamas, live in sunless worlds, in worlds of asuras, demons. Where are the demons? They're not out there in the world. They're not in the stars. The demons are within ourselves. It's interesting. Just before the Australian Open, there were articles in the press and I was reading them. They was talking about the demons that Roger Federer has to deal with even before he steps out onto the court. And it's unfortunate that he wasn't able to overcome these demons. A musician of exceptional talent, if he has demons within him, negativities within him, he has to overcome those negativities even before he can hit that sa. One note he can't hit. You see it, people who are agitated, they can't give a good performance. Speakers, people get stage fright. For what? 30 seconds you have to speak. Vote of thanks you have to give. And you have got, your blood pressure is rising. Your hands get cold. Yeah. Just go out and say what you have to. Why? The fear is, what will people think of me? Immediately you must place it there. They already know that I'm a fool. What more can they know? The worst is over. So whatever I say, the good thing about the worst, about your hitting the worst is things can only get better. Fear, despair, and mother, arrogance. You see, the people who haven't achieved anything are the most arrogant. The real achievers in life are very humble, like Einstein. You know, Einstein once was living somewhere, his neighbor, she only knew that he is a physics teacher. So when her son couldn't understand, her son went to school. When her son couldn't understand some physics, basic physics that was taught, she took the son to Einstein's house and said, "Sir, can you do me a favor, please? I believe you're a teacher of physics. Please teach my son." Einstein didn't say, "You know, I'm a Nobel Prize winner and you're asking me to teach a school child." He sat there and very painstakingly taught this school child physics in such a way that he understood. This is humility. So, why does this all happen? Because of durmedha, wrong understanding, ignorance, foolishness. That's why over and over again in the scriptures, he keeps saying, mudhamate, mudhaha, vimudhaha. Means fool, super fool. Now, I'm not saying that. He is calling us all that. But there is no condemnation in that. There is understanding. It's like you call a child a fool. You really don't mean to call the child a fool. What you mean is, someday you'll grow up to understand finer things of life. And that is the confidence that the sages have. That, yeah, you're totally foolish now, but someday you'll get the knowledge and become wise. Next verse.